Hi, queenies and kingies. Let's get into it. We get time to get into it. Whew. Fast forward. I'm reviewing the Audrick Nappas. Reviewing these dorks, as the Wonder Years would say. Dorks. Oh my god, dorks. Look at his dorks. It's like, you don't have to. And honestly, I'm so disappointed by this show. Visually stunning. I'm telling you, babes. I ended up taking back my 8053 quad platforms because they were, I felt like they were a little too, I didn't, I took them back, and regardless of the reason, they ended up feeling too small on me, okay? Now, I know the Dr. Marten break-in process, but those were not, it just wasn't the right time. Maybe I wasn't trying to deal with breaking in those at the moment, okay? But these right here are a different level of hell, okay? Now, I want to show you how gorgeous these are. Just how gorgeous. Oh my god, I just woke up too. It's like, shoe review over priorities, so don't mind my chapped ass. Look how gorgeous these are. I just want you to admire how gorgeous these are. And the bottoms are my faves. That's what really drew me into this show. Everyone's getting the 1461s, but now I'm like, okay, I'm likely going to take these back for the 1461s, and this is probably going to be like the second exchange that I had to do. But yeah. Now, one thing about this shoe, let me show you the other one since it's better. It's a lot more efficient in the light. One thing I just can't stand with this shoe is how thin and constrictive the material is. This material, right, has no stretch to it. It's very soft. This shoe is very light, which I love for a platform especially, but there is no stretch to this shoe. And this area is going to give you hell. They told me it's a unisex shoe. I wear a size 10.5 in men's to 11s. And they gave me a women's 11, and they told me that was unisex, except for the fact that there's only a woman's, icon on here. I hate the way that sounds as a queer person, but yeah, it's a woman's icon on here, and there's no indication of this being a unisex shoe aside from the fact that they've literally just given me a straight up woman's foot. And knowing how those shoes can tend to be a bit more narrow, that for me is why I feel like these were already a pain. I have a bit of more of a wider foot, but my foot isn't huge, okay? Like I told you, I'm a size 10.5. But don't let that confuse you. It's not an indication of other things. But anyway, yeah. So this shoe, as you can see, it is gorgeous, but this material is so constricting. There's like no stretch to it. Like when I wore my Doc boots, I could feel them stretching as I wore them. With these, it feels as if the material is not meant to have any give. And that's the thing about this shoe in its entirety. It's lightweight, but it has no give. It's not comfortable for me, and the insole here doesn't help that in one bit. And so I'm going to be returning these. I wore them for a couple of days, and I was like, wait, not only is this not my size, because the sales rep had told me that, hey, a men's 10 is equivalent to a women's 11. Okay, but how do you gauge that in a shoe like this, where that has no stretch to it, okay? And that is likely made for a narrower foot, given that it has only a woman's icon on here. Unfortunately, that's just how it can be when it comes to these shoe sizings, and I've noticed it literally in so many other shoes. If there is no stretch in a woman's shoe, I cannot wear it because I have a bit more of a wider foot, and I'm sure that can be the case for other people. They need to catch on to the fact that people have wider foots and they need to compensate for that. Or have like a wider shoe selection like ASOS, which I don't even want to get into ASOS. But yeah, these shoes. How should I hold these? These Audricks are not for me. There's no stretch to them. I found both of my feet to be battered and bruised wearing these. Never have I had that issue with the 1461 boots that I have, and those took me just a week to break in. These, honestly, with this shoe, it feels like no matter how much I wear it, it's just excruciating pain. And when I wore my 1461s for the first time, I felt pain, but comfort in the pain, like the sadist bitch that I can be. But then when I threw on these, it felt like even the shoe feels cheap to me. The top layer feels particularly cheap to me. This feels as if it's going to rip. This does not feel like it has a good year or even a few years of life in it. This feels like I was wearing these and my biggest concern was when are they gonna rip? Because this material does not feel secure. It's Nappa leather. I heard that it's supposed to be like a grain, hot upper leather material, but I didn't notice any of that when I wore this anytime. And I just wore these in the house. I wasn't going for long periods of time, but these were hell from when I put them on to when I took them off. And the material, anytime I touch these, even so much as just a light peck with my nail, it's a scratch. It's something, which also lends to me to believe that these may have been pre-owned before I got them, because there was just little signs of distress here and there. I never really did much with these shoes besides do a quick number, run away in them here in my living room, and I just anytime I tried them on, just to sit down and just if I felt like I just feel like this shoe in its entirety is a rather cheaper material, which is unfortunate because it is exactly the same price as the 1461 platforms and just $10 less than the 8053 platforms. So Audrick Nappas, I've reviewed them for those who couldn't find a motherfucking review about them out there, and I'm not a fan of this shoe. Visually, it's so stunning. Visually, it is for me, but I am not going to put myself through hell another day for these. They're going back, and then I'm going to try the 1461 platform shoes, and hopefully I can get my middle ground pleasure out of that. So I'm Marten Audrick Nappa. Subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Good night.